From Age of the Primes, it is yet another of the 13, Quintus Prime, who kinda looks like something you would find on Quintessa. In fact, in leading up on this particular Prime, he made the Quintessons. What the hell, man? Unleash that scourge on the galaxy! But it's a cool looking toy, and I'm gonna go through it, and we'll figure him out. Kinda weird looking, but, you know, so are Quintessons. But before I go too much further, I do want to thank our sponsor of this video, Toy Hacks. Now, Toy Hacks has some amazing decals for your G1s and your G2s, but also can make your newer stuff look really cool, like this, my Quintus Prime over here. Another one of the 13, but you can add some labels, well, decals, stickers, whatever you want to call them, to make them look really cool. Plus, they have stuff for Combiner Wars and Siege, Titans Returns, Power of the Primes, pretty much you name it, Studio Series, plus an armory. Check them out at toyhacks.com. But we are going to get into Quintus Prime here, who may have created his own doom. Doom. All right, if I say that too many times, I'm going to try to do a Bender impression, and it's not going to work out well. But we're going to go through them bit by bit and have some fun along the way. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm Captain Kyle. Welcome aboard. If you've been watching for a while, thanks for coming back. That's awesome. All right, let's cut this sucker open and have some fun. Oh, be right back. All right, there are no cats at the moment here. Still, once I cut this open, I will be closing the blade, just in case we get a visit from a feline friend, or, you know, one of my owners. But before I go too far, again, just check out the packaging. Nice window box, shows him in his two forms on the front, shows the toy in the two forms on the back, and of course on the side, it shows some gold figures of different primes, and a nice little picture of them on the other side, with what's known as the Ember Stone, which I think figured pretty prominently in the Earthspark cartoon, but that's a whole different universe, I think. There he is still on his card, but in here we have instructions, which we're gonna need, and a shitty piece of paper, which we won't need. Get rid of that. All right, rid of that, and I don't see any accessories in plastic, so we're just gonna have to snip him off the card. Now, while he is now off the card, and I'll zoom in a little bit more on him, he still has some elastic around certain limbs. Might be easier to just snip off at this point, I guess, to keep those limbs together. So we'll get rid of the plastic shit and the elastic, because my cats like playing with stuff like this, and I don't want them to ingest any of this plastic. All right, let's get the turntable of doom over here and take a look at Quintus Prime. Now, looking at him, let's take a look at the instructions to see if I have to set him up any particular way. So it would appear that I have to turn his arms like so. Now, he's supposed to have an Ember Stone, and I'm suspecting that it might be inside him. So the back panel opens up. Inside appears to be the Ember Stone, which it's much easier to get out if you press on the post there. So there he is with his stones. He's got one stone, and he apparently has two additional limbs that can come out like so, or like so if you twist him around. So he's got two regular arms, and then he's got these two little spindly extra arms that look like they have some type of nozzles on them, or weapons, or I don't know what they are. But when he's not using them, they just basically hang out by his sides, like so. I have to say, weird looking transformer. I'm gonna spin him on the turntable of doom. Looks a little bit squid-like. So let's check out some posability and some deco. I mean, he's got a little bit of purple here, but he's obviously mainly green. His eyes, because of the way it's set up, light can go into this portion and make his eyes light up. Again, he's got the two extra arms, and the legs are interesting. I'm gonna see how much they can separate. So this cover seaweed stuff, you can move it up, revealing that he does not have any other stones down between his legs. But he does have two actual legs in there, which I was beginning to wonder about. When all this stuff is up, it looks like he might actually be able to do a full toes-up Jean-Claude Van Damme. And if you need to add some stability, these covers, it's almost kind of like a dress. As far as I'm aware, Quintus Prime is male, despite the lack of stones, just having the one. But yeah, let's see what else we can do with the legs. He can kick forward, as long as you move these out of the way, which there's actually two pieces in the front. So in order for him to kick forward, he's almost unable to see who he's kicking. So I'm guessing that's not his favorite form of attack. Now the back section is all one piece, and he can kick back. And not super high, but not super low. He can do a side kick, even a split side kick. But again, you need to move these things out of the way, and they're almost hitting his opponent if he was the fighting type, which from what I understand, he's not, before his foot hits them. So it's kind of like whipping them in the face and then kicking them in the face, I guess. But he's apparently supposed to be very intelligent, very scientific, so not big on battling. He can twist around at the waist. Oh, we didn't even check out his knees. He does have knees, like so, but apparently when you're moving them, he's got this cover, and it's almost like you're starting the transformation, I imagine. And he's got a swivel there. But yeah, twisting at the waist is not a problem. Just gotta raise up these extra arms. His main arms can go all the way around, but you gotta like move them a little bit to the side in order to go past these arms. Bends at the elbow. He does have a swivel. His head can turn a little bit from side to side. Not all the way around, but he couldn't see through this back plate anyway. And he can kind of look up, but he's only got one face. So I don't know where the idea of, multiple-faced Quintessons came from, but it wasn't based on him. His fists also twist at the wrist, so lots of movement, and the shoulders go up, and you can actually move the arm out pretty far up. Shoulder movement, so a good amount of posability there. These inner arms are on a hinge swivel, so you can actually have the hands like this, or you can have them like this. This looks backwards to me, so if I was going to have him use these arms, I would actually twist them around, but it's got a twist here and a joint there. That's pretty much it, and apparently posts that will plug into something. Very interesting figure, very alien in nature, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, not all Transformers need to look like they're modeled after regular humanoid creatures such as humans, but if you take away his skirt, he does have the legs, so kind of humanoid. Now, height-wise, and I'm gonna go from the back plate to his feet, he is about 5 3/4 inches. So almost 6. And this is a deluxe class figure. Some of the primes are Voyagers, some of the primes are even bigger, such as Star Optimus Prime. Still not thrilled with the story that Star Optimus or Optimus Prime was one of the 13 and then decided to become one with the Allspark and be reincarnated and ended up being an Optimus Prime again. Kind of prefer the whole, humble Orion Pax became Optimus Prime, and that was the first Optimus Prime. But, I can have my own headcanon. So there he is. We've checked out some posability. He's a weird-looking robot with slimy things. Let's check out this vehicle mode, which apparently is like 15 steps, but there's also a slight variation that you can do by swinging his arms around. We'll take a look at. Well, I'm going to open up this back piece again, which is not the easiest to open up, but I got it open. And we'll put the Ember Stone through his back, and the handle appears here on his chest. But all right, submarine-ish type thing, form time. I wonder if it's related to any of the Maximals that change into squids. Clawjaw, I think that's the name. I don't know, I'm not going to look it up. So there he is as a submarine-ish type thing, I'm imagining. I mean, it could be a spacecraft, but it could be both, Flies through space, goes to a water world, meets Kevin Costner, tells him what a bad movie it was, splashes down. Yeah, no roll test, certainly no wheels. But yeah, so this is the form, and he's got these nozzles here. I don't know if they're supposed to be weapons or if he actually has any weapons, but if you so choose, apparently you can take these, swing them back, and here, as I can figure, have them like this for reasons. I don't know the reason, just as happy with them pointing forward, spraying, I don't know, insecticide all over the place. An interesting figure, and I usually prefer things that are a little bit more identifiable as vehicles, close to Earth vehicles. This isn't bad. I mean, it does give me a little bit of Manta Ray's or Black Manta's ship in the DC universe, something along those lines, though who would probably be black. And, for the creator of the Quintessons, this kind of makes sense for a form. So it's kind of fun. I will put him back into his robot mode, but in his vehicle mode, he is actually 8 inches long. Some of these actually go slightly beyond the 8 inches. So, but yeah, he will join the other 13 in debating and fighting against Unicron. Is, what they do. And he could probably have some enhancements. The deco is pretty good, but I could see possibly, I don't know, maybe our sponsor Toy Hacks getting a few decals for this particular toy. And you should definitely check them out because, again, they have decals that you can use for your G1s and G2s, replace things because they get worn over time. And some of those toys are 40 years old. Some of them are even 41. And of course, they have decals for Age of the Primes, Legacy, Siege, Titans Returns, Combiner Wars, etc. Plus their armory. Check them out, toyhacks.com, and have fun with your figure. And if you're having fun watching these videos, by all means, feel free to subscribe. And while you are mulling over this odd-looking, alien-looking Prime, actually check out another Prime, who I mentioned, who, again, not thrilled with the story, but the figure's pretty cool. I actually have a versus of Star Optimus Prime versus Star Convoy right over here. And we will see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.